Thank you, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Planning for a Successful 2023. We have an insightful presentation for you today with an amazing lineup of speakers. The goal, to help you prepare for a great year ahead. As you listen to our speakers, if any questions come to mind, please take notes of those questions. We'll have a Q&A session at the end of each presentation, and we'll try to get to as many questions as possible. With that said, here's our first speaker, EVP of Cement Commercial, Joel Galasini.
Thank you for that introduction, and welcome everybody to today's webinar, Planning for a Successful 2023. We have a great panel here today to share best practices on topics that are crucial for success for 2023. The purpose of this webinar is to help you prepare for the year ahead based on what we've learned and what we see as the major factors that will impact our industry moving forward. We'll be covering three main topics today. First, forecasting and planning. Forecasting is critical to success. Understanding your project pipeline and your capacity to meet demand can help prepare you for a great year, as well as enable us to better meet your supply requirements. Next, we will cover mix optimization. We'll talk about how to use various admixtures to both reduce your carbon footprint as well as maximize the use of your cementitious materials. Finally, we're going to discuss sustainable products and solutions, a topic that's been getting a lot of attention in our industry recently. We'll focus on Type 1L Portland limestone cement and how to make that switch from OPC to PLC. Hint, it's a lot easier than you might think. We believe that these three topics are instrumental for success and can lead to a productive 2023. Now, without further ado, let's hear from our Cemex VP of Commercial Cement for the West, Alfredo Santos, on forecasting and planning. Take it away, Alfredo.
Thank you, Joel. I am happy to join you here today to talk about a very important topic, how to forecast and plan for success in 2023. After health and safety, customer centricity is the most important value at Cemex. Providing you with the quality products you need, where and when you need them, is key to your and our success. But first, let's start by answering why forecasting is critical to a successful 2023. Forecasting is always critical, even more in the current building materials environment. Local cement production across the US is running at maximum capacity, requiring us to bring other products or imports to meet present demand. This additional volume typically comes from other states or countries, taking weeks, even months, to get to your markets. So to better serve you, we need to understand your backlog, your secure projects, in order to prepare a realistic forecast of your demand requirements. Some things to consider when understanding and talking about your project pipeline and your capacity to meet demand. We need to start, for example, understanding what's your truck count, number of production lines, amount of labor, your operational throughput and efficiencies. If there are some bottlenecks in your entire process, it will be very unrealistic to meet any anticipated growth, and our forecast won't be accurate. Another thing to consider is if your supply chain, not only in cement, but other raw materials or equipment, are set up for changes in your demand. By understanding all your needs in advance, it will allow us to evaluate alternatives to fulfill your product requirements. Having your monthly and yearly realistic demand estimates will help us have an efficient supply chain and minimize disruptions. Knowing very well what you expect from your customers and what you can do realistically will provide us with a better picture. Thus, we can provide you with a more accurate estimate of what solutions we can provide or any incremental costs you can expect. Cemex has the strongest logistics network in the country. And by working together with you in having the best forecast, we can be well prepared to bring you our amazing products and offer alternatives to meet your demand. The role of alternatives is very important nowadays because supply is limited. Having flexibility to use other products, such as blended cements or imports, opens up a world of opportunities for you to capture additional growth. Cemex has a variety of products, such as regular Portland cements, but we also have blended cements, such as limestone cements, pozzolanic, slag, and mortars that can be a supplement or substitute to your current process. We also have access to overseas sources in most of our markets, allowing us to adjust our supply very easily to meet your demands. So let us know in advance if you're planning on increasing your fleet size, adding an additional production line or shift to capture increasing demand. We will be able to provide you with the best estimate on product availability and price. Finally, I want to stress the relevance of communication. Communicating with your suppliers to ensure they can better fulfill your product requirements is essential in planning for a successful 2023. So please, communicate your needs with your Cemex sales representative. Our goal is to help you satisfy the expectations of your customers. And please remember, one-off, large projects, large pours, or any large anticipated changes in demand should be communicated ahead of time so we can be ready to supply or evaluate alternatives. Here at Cemex, we are fully vested in helping you succeed in 2023. So let's plan and work together. Thank you and stay safe.
High demand continues to be a challenge for us in our industry. One of the ways to cope with increasing demand is through mix optimization. Here to share some best practices on mix optimization is Cemex USA Admixture Sales Manager, Brad Nelson.
Thank you, Henry. Today, I want to talk to you about mix optimization, specifically what it is, the role admixtures play in it, and how it can benefit you. So, what is mix optimization? Mix optimization is one of the best possible answers to high demands and rising costs of construction materials. A well-optimized concrete mix satisfies the required performance specifications, maintains quality, and helps lower the cost of the ingredients. We can use cementitious materials like fly ash, slag, as well as admixtures within the mix to help optimize it. Now, what I want to focus on is the role that admixtures specifically play within the mix optimization and its benefits. I'm going to begin with a bold statement. If concrete producers use admixture properly, it should cost them no money. It should actually save the producer money. It should produce a better product, increase strength, increase slumps to help the customer place it, reduce excessive bleed, reduce cracks, have a better finish, control set times, and pump better. Let me explain. If only cement, aggregates, and water are used, only about 80% of the cement that you've already paid for will hydrate. Using admixtures can increase that percentage up to an additional 15%, which gets you closer to the 100% mark that you're looking for. What happens is during the grinding process, this creates a static charge on each particle. These particles are attracted to each other and they trap water. These are called flocks. We'll use admixtures to break up these flocks, freeing the water and cement, allowing a higher percentage of the cement to hydrate. When using Cemex admixtures, there are three key benefits that we'd like to highlight. The first is a customized solution. Our admixtures have the capabilities needed to overcome unique challenges and meet rigorous performance requirements. The second benefit is our technical support team. Our technical services team can evaluate your mix and help you find opportunities to optimize for volume while meeting all your specifications. Finally, one of the new unique advantages you get when buying your admixtures from us is we're a one-stop shop. You get both your cement and your admixtures from Cemex. This ensures that the admixtures are compatible and that you have the confidence in the quality of the products from the same supplier you know and trust. Overall, admixes can help optimize your mix. It's going to save you money. It's going to make your concrete perform better. It's just a win-win-win for everybody.
can't turn on the news these days without hearing the word sustainability. Sustainability is a major topic in our industry today. Here to share some advice on sustainable products and solutions is Cemex USA Director of Market Development, Corey Zollinger.
Thanks, Henry, for the introduction. I'm excited to be here to talk about sustainability, especially as it's getting a lot of our attention as well as your attention. And we expect that that trajectory will continue to grow for 2023. We're starting to see a big shift towards sustainable product demands and solutions coming towards us. Just in the last few years alone, we've had a lot of conversations with engineering firms, owners and developers, and even contractors that are looking to us to try and help them understand what sustainable solutions are available now and what sustainable solutions will be coming to us in the future. And you can see some of the brands of the companies that we've worked with recently to help them through this. Another point to this that we're seeing in terms of trends in the market, I attended the American Society of Concrete Contractors conference earlier this year, and I was curious to find out from them how important carbon footprint reduction, sustainability was to their companies. Again, I surveyed contractors, right? So I asked them the importance of the CO2 footprint to their company. And surprisingly, 74% of them reported that it was a medium to high importance for their own companies. I was also curious, how important was it to their customers? So the developers, the owners of the world. And they reported that 93% of them were at a medium to high level in terms of importance for their customers. What was also very interesting to find out in this poll was how many had participated in a project where sustainability was included along with price in terms of the decision factor to who would be awarded the project. And 55% of them had already participated in a procurement process such as this. So it's definitely interesting as we see the private markets demand more sustainable solution. Another thing that we're starting to see is that regulations and government policies are also starting to require more sustainable solutions. And that's happening on a few different fronts. The first area is where government and legislatures are requiring your cement producers to reach certain targets. As an example, out in California, they've committed to reaching net zero cement production by 2045. So obviously that has an impact on your cement and concrete producers. We're also seeing in your departments of transportation, some cities and counties where they're starting to request environmental product declarations to be provided along with mixed design submittals and the like. The goal of that is that they'll start to be able to require that concrete mixes are submitted with a lower carbon footprint. So we're definitely seeing demands not only in the private sector, but also in the public sector for lower carbon footprint, more sustainable solutions and products to the market. The ultimate goal is for Cemex to deliver net zero carbon dioxide concrete by the year of 2050. So we definitely have a lot of work to do, not only ourselves, but also working with our suppliers and our customers to be able to achieve these goals. As part of that, we would like to be working on delivering more sustainable products and solutions. If you look at a cubic yard of concrete as an example, and you look at what makes up the carbon footprint of that cubic yard, what you'll start to find out is that cement makes up about 85 to 90% of the carbon footprint of a cubic yard of concrete. You can take a look at aggregate, sand, water, admixtures, transportation, that sort of thing, but really those don't make up a whole lot of impact in terms of the carbon footprint of the concrete mix. So when we're trying to figure out how to reduce our carbon footprint, we're going to spend a lot of time working on the cement side of things. So the question is what are we doing in the cement business to try and reduce that carbon footprint? So the first thing we're trying to do is reduce what's called the clinker factor. And so we're moving to products you've probably heard of 1L cement or Portland limestone cement, which has a lower clinker factor than you would get in your traditional type 1-2 cement, as an example. The nice thing about that 1L cement is we're able to reduce our carbon footprint by about 7 to 10%. And by just switching over from that type 1-2 cement to your 1L cement. What's likely to come behind that in a few years is alternative or blended cements. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in our one-on-one conversations and when that would happen. But again, the whole goal of that is to reduce your clinker factor and in turn, reduce the carbon footprint of the product we produce. Now, we're also doing some really great things in the production of the cement to help reduce that carbon footprint. One of the first things we're doing is using alternative fuels. Instead of using coal and pet coke as an example, we're using tires and natural gas and other sorts of things that can burn, heat up the kiln, but have a lower carbon footprint when we do that. We're doing hydrogen injection, and that allows us to do more alternative fuels. We're also doing some really cool things with renewable energy. We've got some windmills and other sources of energy that we're using to try and power up those mills. One of the key elements to actually achieving net zero concrete is going to be the utilization of carbon capture. We've got two really cool projects that are going on right now at two of our cement plants where we're learning how to accomplish this. And it will definitely be a key player in the carbon reduction. Now, if you take a look at a cubic yard of concrete and you look at how do you reduce the carbon footprint of that concrete, one of the key elements to that is using supplementary cementitious materials. The graph that we're showing you here on the left is using ordinary Portland cement or OPC. And as you take cement out of your mix and you put in supplementary cementitious materials, your carbon footprint is going to be reduced, as we show on the slide. If you look on the far right-hand side of this slide, it shows you the impact of using Portland limestone cement. So in a standard 6-stack mix of concrete, by switching from 100% ordinary Portland cement to 100% Portland limestone cement, you're going to reduce your carbon footprint by about 6%. And then additionally, by adding more SCMs to that, you can reduce it even further. So it definitely has a big impact. One of the takeaways that I see from this is, while this is a good first step, it's not clearly enough. We need to be doing even more to reducing our carbon footprint if we want to achieve the goals that we've set. We do have some really good technical data supporting the utilization of Portland limestone cement, and we'll be sharing that with you in greater detail coming this year. One of the research documents that we can share with you is some work that was done and funded by the California Department of Transportation with some very well-respected researchers up at Oregon State University, where they took 6 different limestone cements and they put 86 different mix designs together, and they tested it every way you possibly can, from looking at compressive strength to alkali silica reactivity to shrinkage, set time, a lot of different tests. And a few of the things they found out was, number one, typically a 1-to-1 substitution of Portland limestone cement in place of ordinary Portland cement is acceptable. They also recommended that Portland limestone cement could be incorporated into construction specifications for the DOT without any major impacts. Now, as we do this, it's important that you do some testing. And so we've got some testing that we're going to be sharing with you specific to the sources that you would use on your project. As an example, here's some testing that we did at Cemex's Lyons plant in Colorado, where we looked at the comparison of the typical cement in that market, which is a type 5 cement. We compared that to a limestone cement, and we also compared that to where we mix in 25% fly ash with your ordinary Portland cement and your Portland limestone cement. And by and large, what you can see in the testing that we're doing, you're getting a very comparable performance in terms of compressive strength, whether it's at the 1 day, 3 day, 7 day, or even 28 days. And so we're doing a lot of this testing, and we plan on sharing more of it with you in the future. And we're very excited to be able to share this information with you and help you develop mix design specific at your plants. There's a lot of really great benefits of limestone cement, especially in the, it's really green. from the ground up. It uses less energy. We're going to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions and in turn, reduce the carbon footprint. It provides you that strong foundation that you've always relied upon, right? We're still going to be able to get you the same strength, the same durability, finishing characteristics that your projects really do demand. And then finally, it's a fairly seamless substitution. By and large, you're going to see a 1-to-1 substitution with your Portland limestone cement versus your ordinary Portland cement. Now, we do recommend that you do some testing to get familiar with it because there may be a few minor changes that need to happen. You may have to work with some admixtures and that sort of thing. But by and large, it's a fairly seamless substitution to implement this into your projects. Now, a few things that we want to finish up here with is that, number one, most specifiers are getting more familiar with Portland limestone cement and getting it into their project specifications. Our team is heavily involved in working with those specifiers to make sure that they know how to put it into specifications and get it approved for specific projects. If you happen to run into a project where it's not been accepted or it's not been approved, please feel free to reach out to us, and our team can work with you hand in hand to work with those specifiers, work with the owners, and ensure that it gets specified and approved on projects in any of the markets that we work in. I want to thank you for the time regarding sustainable solutions and products that we're offering to you, and we're excited for 2023.
And now for some closing remarks. Once again, Cemex USA EVP of Cement Commercial, Joel Galasini.
Thank you all for joining us for this. This has been really informative. Great 3 topics, great presentations by all 3 of our panelists. Really appreciate it. I hope that every one of you have been able to take a few notes and glean some great pointers coming out of this. As always, if you've got further questions or concerns and want to talk in further detail about any of these topics, feel free to reach out to your individual sales representative or be sure to check out our website, cemexusa.com. Great information there. You can learn a lot more about each of these topics that we discussed. Again, thank you for joining us, and we hope you have a really prosperous 2023, but also a safe and healthy one too. We look forward to working with you in the coming year. Take care.
Thank you, Joel. We really appreciate that. Wow, what a great webinar, packed with lots of valuable information. We hope you truly enjoyed the presentations. Again, thank you for joining us today. We wish you and your family a happy and safe holiday ahead. Thank you.